The Vera Talent Show. The Vera Talent Show. The Vera Talent Show. The Vera Talent Show. Let's talk about it. 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 On the Vera Talent Show. The Vera Talent Show. The Vera Talent Show. The Vera Talent Show. Let's talk about it. 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 On the Vera.
Hello, hello, hello. I am so happy that you are here today, and I am so excited. We have a mother and daughter here, and we're going to be talking about mental health, motherhood, and the impact that mental health can have not only on our children but also on ourselves. And so I'm going to bring them up right now. Hello, Rachel and Demetria. How are you guys today?
Doing wonderful. We're fine,
Awesome.
thank you.
And I'm so glad that you're here. And I just want to tell the audience a little bit about both of you. So, Rachel S. Fletcher is CEO, teacher, poet, writer, producer, publisher, and actor. She was born in Decatur, Georgia. She was raised to value education and later decided to pursue a career in English education by way of Kennesaw State University. Now, this capricious Pisces worked her way through school, often working two or three jobs at a time. After graduation, Rachel returned home to her high school alma mater to teach. Now she teaches in Clayton County, where she purchased her first home. Congratulations, so awesome. Miss Fletcher primarily teaches world literature. While teaching, she found the time to self publish a collection of poetry called Resilient Roots, which is also available on Amazon. In her free time, she enjoys reading, painting, writing, and leading her family's nonprofit, Aim High Solutions, whose mission is to address adverse childhood experiences, also known as ACE, and promote the holistic wellness of youth and their families. Rachel can often be seen around the community smiling, encouraging the children, or coaching the soccer team. Ms. Fletcher is a member of World Women Conference and Awards and Southern Crescent Women in Business, both of which promote women empowerment at the global and local levels, respectively. She enjoys any way that she can be creative. She still believes that education is the key to unlock the golden door of freedom. She tries to teach accordingly. Ms. Fletcher is passionate about teaching students to be successful beyond the classroom, especially in a globally connected society. Now, her mother is an international world woman of vision, health, and wellness nominee. Congratulations, Demetria.
Thank you.
Demet- Demetria Winters is a certified life coach, mental health advocate, author, writer, publisher, entrepreneur, speaker, nurse, Army veteran, poet, model, and actor. As a survivor of childhood trauma and diagnosed with major depression, she set out to find a way to affect change in mental health and alleviate the stigma in the Black community. Focusing in on Black women like herself, She seeks to provide education and support with her courses, workshops, and books. She is also involved in political, economic, and clinical forums that led to her founding of Black Butterfly Queens Life Coaching LLC for Black women seeking to overcome their mental and emotional challenges, bettering their overall health and wellness while finding their purpose. As the founder of Purple Butterfly Goddess Publishing LLC, she self published her own work and is partnering with her daughter, Rachel, on expanding it to include multimedia and production projects. Demetria helps Black women devise self care plans that include mindset training, conflict resolution, and personal development, and more. Loving to write as part of her own self care, she decided to take that love to a new level and become a first time author with the collaboration project Wake Up Winning, No Matter What, because losing is not an option, Volume 2. Well, ladies, thank you so much for being here. And I just want to start by asking you to just kind of tell us about your journey of getting into the mental health area and arena and what it is that has propelled you to do the work that God has destined you to do.
Well, you're gonna let me start.
Mhm.
Um, I believe the journey for both of our big entities, Black Butterfly Queens Life Coaching and Aim High Solutions, is connected, um, because connected because of my own personal journey of surviving childhood trauma, which included um, molestation from the ages of 3 to 5 years old, as well as living in a household, volatile household with um, my stepfather, who I believed had undiagnosed PTSD in his own childhood trauma. He lost his mother when he was around 3 years old, and he was abusive verbally, mentally, to all of us, and physically, as well as those other things towards my mom. And that ended up causing me to have my own PTSD issues as well as major depression. And that's why Black Butterfly Queens um, focuses on Black women. However, I don't discriminate. Anyone who needs my help, I'm going to do it. Aim High Solutions, which focus on uh, many people because we just love service of others. We honed it in on the youth, the children, especially between the ages of 0 to 17, um, which is a big factor when it comes to uh, the effects of adverse childhood experiences.
Wow. You know, it- for you to have gone through all of that, and a lot of times parents don't understand because of the things that they've gone through themselves. It's kind of hard for them to teach what they don't know, and being able to recognize that your stepfather probably suffered, so he didn't know any better than
Mm-hmm.
how he was. And I can understand and relate to what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just so sorry that you've gone through all of that. But thank God you've overcome. And thank God you can now help others who may be experiencing those same kinds of things. And so, Rachel, I'd like for you to take a few minutes and kind of tell us your story.
My story as it relates to mental health is a little complex because I was formally trained as an educator on certain learning disabilities and mental health disorders. And then I turned around and experienced my own. So I have a mental health diagnosis that I'm very open about. And I I have my own journey that I'm going through, but it just helped me better relate to the children that I serve.
Okay. Do you mind sharing your diagnosis, or you'd rather not?
I rather not.
Okay. Well, that's fine. That's fine. I understand. So, what I would like for you guys to do, let's talk about some of these mental health issues and the impact that it does have on families. And Demetria, I know in your counseling and your coaching, you really delved into that. And one of the things you just posted an article, and I'd like for you to kind of talk about that article that you just posted.
I posted an article and I didn't read it in depth, but I know a little bit about the subject anyway. And if you go to CDC and look up ACE trauma, and you can actually find also other links where you can take the test yourself to see how you score. Anybody who scores a 4 or higher probably has some ongoing issues, mental, emotional, and physical. There is a physical connection to adverse childhood experiences, basically trauma. Our bodies, react to stress, and we either stand our ground and fight, or we take flight, we run. But either way, your body reacts in a way, like, say, your heart rate escalates, like your heart is beating and pounding, because you got to get that blood flow to kind of keep you going. You got to have that adrenaline and that sort of thing. However, prolonged reactions like that, and constant, whether it's prolonged, like it's happens like often, or it happens you know a long period of time, that's not good for you. And they've connected chronic health issues such as things as diabetes, hypertension, heart problems, and others, to possibly your trauma from your earlier years. And so I wanted to share that article to keep that discussion open and to help people become aware that it's not just your genetics, it's not just nature, it's also nurture.
Yes. And I want to put that website that you said that people could go test, get the test. What is it?
Now, for the test, if I'm not mistaken, it's www.npr.com. But if you put ACE trauma test, then it'll connect you. And you can also find out a lot from cdc.gov. So, Center for
For-
Disease
Yes.
Control, cdc.gov is a good place.
Okay. CDC.gov. Okay. Awesome.
Mhm.
And we will put that up so that parent people can go to that and check it out as well.
Mhm.
Because a lot of times we may think we know that there are issues, but until we awareness precedes change, and a lot of times we may be going through some things and not truly understand why we're going through the things we're going through, and not reflect back on maybe this is because of some things that happened in my childhood. And
Exactly. And I want to correct myself on the NPR is .org and
oh,
not .com.
oh, okay, all right, I can
Yes.
change that.
Yes. And oh, I so agree. Like, especially when you look like you have it all together. Like, I'm a nurse. And as far as some people know, I'm a nurse. Um, you know, my kids are doing fairly well, but they have issues because of my issues. That was part of my diagnosis problem. That can increase your score on that ACE trauma score when you have a parent with a mental health issue, alcoholism, stuff like that.
Oh, without doubt, without doubt. And so, as a result of your issues,
Mm-hmm.
As a mother, can you kind of, because I want people to understand, people don't understand a lot of times parents can't give what they don't have, and they can't teach what they don't know. And so when you're going through the stuff yourself, then it impacts on your children. And so I want us to kind of talk about that, because that's a part of what my passions are as well, helping children, helping parents understand and identify attitudes, behaviors, and misconceptions that have impacted on their children. And so I'd like for you to kind of talk about that and share, a little bit of history about how it did impact your family.
Yeah. So what I'd like to do is I'd like Rachel to lead because
I'm so glad you said that, because I
yeah.
was thinking that. I think this is a great question for me because her mental health impacted me growing
Okay.
up.
All right.
So she suffers from depression, and we know that that looks a certain way, where she has triggers. She lives her life um, in a manner where she has depressive episodes.
Mhm.
So these episodes are periods of time where we can see her depression very clearly. And it looks like not taking care of herself, putting others before her, not taking care of finances, letting things pile up
Mhm.
and overwhelm her.
Mhm.
And it's like, as a child, that translates to not having boundaries, because my mom does everything for everybody before she does it for herself. So I've learned that behavior. It looks like not taking care of herself, where she'll not eat until lunchtime. So as a child, I'm taking care of her. I'm her caregiver while I'm 27. I'm helping her um, do her her activities of daily living.
Yeah. Remember to eat.
Right, like being her accountability partner. It just is. Life looks a little different when your parent has a mental health condition, and there are certain behaviors that I'm learning it's not okay for me to have, um, because it will trigger my own depression, or it will trigger my own mental health conditions. So I have to be very, very careful when I'm dealing with my mom's own mental health condition.
That is very, and I'm glad that you were the one that answered that question,
Mhm.
because a lot of times kids are impacted and they can't verbalize what it is that they're feeling or what it is that they're going through. And so the other question I want to ask you, Rachel,
What
as
it
a
is that they're feeling or what it is.
okay,
We're
so
just trying to share.
I want to ask you, Rachel, as a young child, how did it impact you? Now that you're grown and you see and understand, but as a child, you didn't. I'm sure you didn't understand quite what was going on. So
I didn't. So I knew that um I really didn't know mommy was sad. There was no like, I knew my parents were amazing. I had a father in the home, and most of my friends didn't. So I was living in a two-parent household with two incomes coming in. I was not as I don't want to say that I was traumatized just because I experienced trauma, because my parents did an amazing job, as you can tell
yes,
from my bio.
yes,
I have
without question
several
or doubt,
accomplishments.
yes.
So they did an amazing job despite their own trauma. But as a child, I did a lot of escaping, because we had a dysfunctional household. So I read a lot of books. I wrote stories. I told stories with my hand-me-down dolls that I had and stuffed animals. um, and so I just kind of got lost in my own world, because I created this fantasy world where people weren't yelling, and it wasn't arguments, and It was clean.
Mhm.
It was just a whole new world for me.
Mhm.
And I got to create it myself. And it inspired me to create my own success. I knew I didn't want to live a life where the power would get turned off and I couldn't connect to the internet. So I, you know, created my own success story. Bought a house at 22 straight out of college, got my
Wow.
career that I desired and that I'm passionate about. I love teaching and it's the career for me. And it's just very positive that I have all of this success despite the mental health challenges that we experience.
Mhm.
Yes, and what you did, you overcompensated because
Yeah.
of that, and
Yeah,
therefore had no choice in your mind than to move forward and succeed and be the best person that you could be and to do
exactly.
all the things that you could do. And if it meant working two jobs while going to college, I'm gonna do this. I gotta get it done. And
Exactly.
so I understand where you're coming from. I understand that overcompensation because you wanted something different. Now,
Mhm.
the other point that you made that I think is very, very valid, even though there was dysfunction in the home, your parents did an awesome job in raising you and instilling in you the importance of education and the importance of self sufficiency, actually, because of what you saw in the home. But it didn't negate nor take away from them being good parents to you.
Right.
To a certain extent. And
Okay.
It has to be a
that's where,
balance.
right, that's where I want to come in at,
Okay.
because of the issues I had as a child, I didn't have a sense of self. I never knew what I wanted to do. The only thing that I ever knew that I wanted was to be a mother and to have a good relationship with my children. Now, I don't have a horrible relationship with my children, but I do feel that my depression kept me away from them. It kept me disengaged when I wanted to be more engaged, more involved, even more, loving, and
More
and I
affection.
could, yeah, more affectionate. Because when I would get triggered, I'm an isolator, and that means that I'm one of those people that withdraws, because I feel like now that I know myself better, I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to get away from problems. I wanted to keep stuff out. Unfortunately, what happened was, not only did I keep out bad stuff, I kept out a lot of good too.
Okay.
So,
All right. But again, awareness precedes change. And the fact that you wanted to be a good mother, that was your dream. You wanted to be a parent. And you did the best you could with what you had. And it shows. I mean, look at Rachel, and you guys are working together. And that's just the beautiful thing. I lost my mother when she was 43 years old. And
okay.
so to see this connection here and to know that you're working together, you're understanding, and Rachel, you're being that support for your mom, and she's being that support for you as well. That is just a beautiful thing. It really, really is. Now, we've got an event coming up on
Yes.
Sunday, and I'm so excited and I'm honored that I will be a part of this event on Sunday. And I
Mhm.
want you guys to kind of talk about the event and how you came up with the format to do it and all of that. Okay, so I'm going to give you the floor again and let you share that information.
Well, I dreamed up the brunch June of 2018, and I wrote down a bunch of notes about the nonprofit as I was creating our 501c3 application to get approved. We are a 501c3, so your contributions to us are tax deductible. But as I was going through the process of completing this application, which in general takes about 6 months to a year, I completed it in 3 days. Like,
Wow. Oh my God. Overachiever.
yeah,
Oh my God.
Like you said,
but it
overcompensation.
really,
Yes.
honestly, it really wasn't me. I feel like I was led by the Holy Spirit, because I wrote down Holy Spirit, fruits of the Holy Spirit, and then I listed them. Um, but all of that to say, the brunch has been a long time coming. It's a event that's not for us; it's for the children. And it's all about helping elevate all lives. We believe that we have to heal before we can elevate. And for us, elevate means reaching success, going to the next level, or stepping up to our potential. So, this brunch is provided by Taste of Tiffany, and her business partner is providing the decor for us. So, we're super excited about that. It's going to be at my girlfriend's place in Stone Mountain at 1 p.m. this Sunday. And we're serving an amazing, amazing menu. I'm
I
getting hungry
saw
just
the, I
thinking about
know, I saw the menu and I was like, oh my God, how
Yes.
do
it.
you
Yeah,
choose from this menu? Oh my
right. I want
goodness.
like a sampler plate.
Yes. Can we get that? Because when I saw it, I was like, wow.
Yes.
So if we can get a sampler plate, I want one.
Right.
It's so, oh my God, it's just, and you've got some awesome presenters that are going to be on the panel. You want to kind of talk about those panelists?
Yeah.
Okay, so here I go, because here goes that connection. When you have divine connections, right?
Yes.
And they kind of speak to your spirit, and when you get together, is that much more explosive and empowering.
Yes.
One of the panelists is Gayla Gates, who is an awesome medical doctor who doesn't just do what's expected, but she goes beyond, and uh, she will help us kind of get an understanding of, the physical aspects of what goes on when you experience trauma. Um, and we also have a therapist, Chantel Colson Lundy, who had a great group called Sisters in Serenity, a support group, and I think they're in a process of um, revising it. And I hope so, because it was awesome group for women of color to kind of come together and speak about their own experiences, current and historically. Uh, we have Sir Markadu Haggins, a master distributor, but he's also a survivor of childhood trauma. And when I
Mhm.
tell you, it's something else to hear a Black man talk about his trauma.
Yes.
We don't get that. We don't get the
Yes.
Black community to do those sorts of things anyway.
Yes.
And so that makes this panel amazing. We also have Dr. Felicia Johnson, who is another survivor. She's been in foster care. She's a traumatic coach. She's our keynote speaker. Of course, we have Vera Thomas, who is an advocate and a host of her own show. And we're so glad to have all of them, as well as we have entertainers. We have comedy from Lisa Williams, and
Music from Breboski
yes,
and Astro Witch Productions.
yes,
Wow.
yeah. So it is going to be so much more. It's going to be what you think it is and more, because there are a lot of us on that panel that have been through some stuff, that are willing to talk about it openly to help others go on that journey of healing and
Yes.
happiness finally.
Yes, and awareness precedes change. And so
Mhm.
making people aware of, and what this event is also going to do is kind of help people that come recognize pieces and parts within themselves that they may have buried, for so
Mhm.
long, and not understand
Yes.
why they
Yes.
are the way that they are, or even why they're attracting certain types of
Yes.
people,
Yes.
because that makes it, I mean, Dr. Phil says we teach people how to treat us.
Hmm.
And sometimes we don't understand why we're attracting certain types of people, or why we're attracting certain types of behaviors towards us, and
Exactly.
so this event is going to enable people to really look at themselves. Are
Hmm.
you bored, Rachel?
It's my bedtime. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
really? You go to
Yes, I go
Because,
to sleep really
see,
early
Oh,
so
yeah.
I
do
can get up for the
you?
children.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I appreciate you being here, given all of that. I do. And I'm hoping that it's showing on Facebook, because normally we have
More
interaction and
people interact. Yeah.
yes. And so I don't know. I know last week there was a problem and it
Oh,
didn't
yeah.
get.
And then they had that an outage or something
Yes,
yesterday,
yes.
correct?
So I hope that it's airing. But so the brunch is again on Sunday, and it
Hmm.
starts at
1
1
p.m.
1 p.m. and it's in Stone Mountain
Hmm.
at my girlfriend's place. I love that name. I love that
Yes,
name.
yes. And the founder, Connie Sproul, she named it that for a reason. So it has a lot of meaning behind it. And by the way, um, that Sunday that we have it is actually 10/10, October 10th, which is World Mental Health Day. And that's why we chose that day.
Oh, wow. Okay. Okay. That's awesome. Now, I know both of you are authors. Did you,
Yes.
by any chance, do you have your books near you by any chance?
Yes, or I can just pull up a poem on my phone.
Okay, well, pull up a poem on your phone, please.
Okay, I got it.
Okay, well, I'm ready. I'm ready.
This is Ancestry from Resilient Roots.
Okay.
Ancestry. I come from a long line of brutal, savage men who were fighters, bloodthirsty, and never satisfied. I come from a long line of men who were tough and never knew when to quit, even when it hurt, even when they hurt. I come from a long line of abusive men, abused men, broken men. I come from a long line of proud just for the sake of it, constantly passing down bad habits, addictions, and all. Too afraid to be emotional and let God in, because all in all, they wonder, how could a God like him forgive a sinner like him? I come from sharecroppers, slaves, kings, huntsmen, warriors, worriers, and everything in between. From I ain't gotta do nothing but stay black and die, to go get my switch, to a cup of coffee, black, no cream, 2 heaping tablespoons of sugar, to losing everything that we think we care about and then blaming others for mistakes of our own. See, we love hard, but we hold on to so much anger and negativity. So it comes out as steam and sex and seductiveness, and we love and we love until we are bubbling with anger and filled with rage, while our partners are silent and empty.
Oh my goodness. That is beautiful. Oh my goodness. And I want to touch on responsibility, because there are so many people, grown people, that do not accept responsibility for their actions, their behaviors, and the consequences as a result of those actions and behaviors. And so, you touching on that in that poem, oh my goodness. That was beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And you talked about me as a poet. Come on now. Come on now. Come on now.
Thank you.
Oh, that was beautiful. And Demetria, I know you're a poet also, so let us hear from you.
Yes, mommy.
Yes. So the book cover that you have that we submitted, that's actually a work of mine that's going to actually come out December 21st, which is the first day of winter. And I'll be in the future explaining, what that's about. But it's the first of four book series about four women of color dealing with their own mental health challenges, and I'll be having journals and poetry books that come before each of those stories. And this is the poetry book, Self Guided Journal, Winter's Prelude. And that is my first. That is my first self-published work. And
Awesome.
And
Congratulations.
I did the
thank you.
cover.
Yeah, she painted the cover,
Oh
and
my
there's a story
goodness.
behind that as well.
Well, tell us the story behind
Get into it.
it.
Hold
I
on.
want
We
to
gotta.
see it.
Okay, so as you can see, it's
Oh,
a
wow.
woman
Yes.
who has, and you see her belly is a pregnant belly.
Yes.
I have my maternal
Keep it up
grand
while she's explaining it. Okay.
my maternal grandmother is actually was known as a healer, and she actually had visions and was pretty prophetic. So Rachel and I were discussing my me wanting to write a story that was loosely based on me, and we talked about the poetry book and her doing a cover. And she said, "What if your grandmother knew partially what was going to happen to your mom?" My mom had to, because of her relationship with my father, she basically left the state of Florida to move to Ohio to get away from him. And this picture shows a storm. And just like you see, say for instance, in Wizard of Oz, where the storm is sweeping away all these
Hmm.
people and houses and everything else. So this is like the house in a storm. She was close to her parents, but pretty much ripped away. This represents my mom, the lady with the blue on, and there's a little top of a head, and that represents my brother, who asked my mom while we were leaving the state if we were ever going to see grandmother again.
Oh, wow.
And he never did, because our
Oh,
grandmother passed away. Um,
oh,
and palm trees representing Florida, my state
yes.
of birth.
Yes. Can you bring it down a little so I can see? Okay. All right.
Sorry, I
I
can't
see.
see.
I
Yeah.
see. I see the partial head.
Mhm.
Okay. What part of Ohio?
Youngstown.
Okay. Okay. Because I'm from Canton.
Okay, not too far, not
Not
too
too
far at
far
all.
at all. Oh, my. And so you grew up there?
I did.
Okay.
At the age of 3, when I said I first experienced trauma, it happened in Ohio.
Oh,
And so, I mean, I don't know what would have happened if we stayed in Florida, but unfortunately, what happened when we moved, um, started that. I mean, and then you add in being separated from my father,
yes.
because separation from a parent, no matter how it is, whether it's because of their depression, because of death, because of parents breaking up or whatever.
Jail time.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
It impacts.
it's interesting, don't you think, when people say they don't understand why people behave a certain way, but you keep seeing all this trauma in their lives, like until they heal, how do you expect them to behave?
Exactly. And well, you know that I drive Uber, and I have picked up girls at 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning going to see a man. And invariably, I ask them, what kind of relationship do you have with your dad?
Mm-hmm.
And without question, 9 times out of 10, they have none.
Mm-hmm.
And so the importance of a father in a girl's life is important. Now, I realize that there may be some issues with that, within the home, but having him there, I think it really makes a difference.
Yeah, having a good one.
A good one,
And,
yes.
and and being good is not about money.
No.
Um, being good is being present, respectful, showing a kind heart, and doing the best you can with what you got.
Amen. Absolutely. I had written a poem for fathers that was commissioned by the state of Ohio, by Akron, and
Mhm.
given to every dad that took their child to the zoo. And I'm going to share that. Okay.
Okay.
Father, provider, protector, role model for a son, the image of the man that will be the husband of your daughter when that time comes. What's best for your children should be concern number one, regardless of the obstacles a father must overcome. Sometimes the injustices of our society towards many of our fathers can make it hard to stand, but you gotta stand and be a man and a father to your children in every way you possibly can. Demonstrate their worth through you by the words that you say and the things that you do. Don't ever put your children down or call them out of their name. They may become whatever you claim. Lift them up to higher ground. Let their inner beauty be seen, be found. Show them and tell them how special they are. Be the light. Be the light. Be the light to take them far. Show them and tell them how much you really care and let them know no matter what, you will always, in all ways, be there. Pray that our fathers will be guided by the light to lead their children in the ways that are right. And, I shared that and I interrupted the fact that you were supposed to be doing a poem. So I'm sorry about that. It just came to me, we were talking about dads, and I thought,
Mhm.
but anyway, it's you have the floor, Demetria.
Oh, thank you.
You're
And
welcome.
chose this poem out of Winter's Prelude, and this is a mother connection. So they kind of come together really in an organic manner. And this is called Blame. Mother, should I blame you for my strife? Should I blame you for the life that I didn't ask for? Being thrust innocently into a tainted existence, should I blame you for being open and weak to the promises of love and affection? Should I blame you for wanting something you shouldn't have, but was drawn to the passion, desire, and respect that you craved for, letting it validate and define your worth? Should I blame you for the very indiscretion that procreated my existence on earth? Should I blame you for what you consider an unexpected but still cherished birth of a baby girl born in sin and your everlasting love? Should I blame you for seeking happiness despite what the neighbors said? Should I blame you for escaping your reality but then seeking freedom from the chains of the pull to someone who desired his own satisfaction? Should I blame you or praise you for making me and giving me life?
Oh my God. Oh my God. That is beautiful. That is, oh my goodness. And let's talk about that. So, in you writing that, tell me more about that poem, and now that you reflect on it, how do you feel about what you wrote?
When I wrote it, because one of my purposes one of my purposes for writing this poetry book to kind of introduce my characters that are coming, especially Winter, Winter,
Yes.
which is the main character. I did a I thought about my um, relationship with my parents and the circumstance of my birth, which unfortunately um, was because of an extramarital affair. Now, one thing my mom never did was lie to us. So I knew growing up what was going on, including the fact that she wasn't aware at first, but then she fell in love and it was hard to get away until she moved how many states and miles away.
Yeah.
Um, and people may not have known my story, but people always say things when they don't know somebody's story. And I remember being ashamed. And so I was ashamed of existing. Then I was ashamed of being molested like I was the perpetrator.
Mm.
And I was ashamed that I felt like she didn't know how much she had to offer and that she didn't have to settle for that situation to begin with. But if you think about it, if she had been a different kind of woman, then I wouldn't exist. If she had more, a feeling of worth and validation, then I wouldn't exist. And God knew all of us before we were born, and He
Yes.
allowed us to be on this earth.
Yes.
So I had to come to a, like some people say, coming to Jesus moment that He has a purpose for me too. Despite the fact that some people think that me being born is a travesty, you know? Um, and I could say I'm ashamed of you and the actions that brought me here, but then here we go around in this circle. I'm ashamed of me then, right? I'm ashamed of my own existence. I'm ashamed of who what I represent to some people. But see, that's not who I am.
No, it's not. Thank you, Jesus.
So,
Wow. That is, oh my goodness. And your story, both of your stories are going to change a lot of lives because there are so many people that have had similar experiences and don't know how to address it or deal with it. And one of the quotes that come to mind, Eleanor Roosevelt, she said, "No one can make you feel inferior without your permission." But as children, we don't understand that.
mm-mm,
We
yeah,
don't understand that. I didn't understand it,
yeah,
as a child, because whatever people said or however people reacted or responded, then I took it on, or
yes,
you take it on, not
mhm,
realizing that power that God has put inside of us to make a difference in our lives.
mhm,
And see, you would not be the person that you are if you hadn't gone through all the stuff that you've gone through. You would not be able to make an impact on others without having gone through what you've gone through. And
mhm,
so God does not make mistakes. And so each child that is born, it is not a mistake. And God has given purpose to each and every one of us, but we have to go through, you have to go through all this other stuff to get to your purpose. You know what I'm saying? And so I thank God for the both of you. I thank God that you are making such an impact and such a difference in other women's lives and in children's lives, because children, we don't choose our parents. We
mhm,
don't choose our parents. And sometimes our parents don't choose us either.
True.
But knowing that once we reach the age of accountability or once we reach the age of awareness, then we can reflect on who we are and thank God for bringing us into this world so that we can make a difference in other people's lives.
Hmm. Yes.
Rachel, what are you thinking right now?
Oh my goodness.
Mhm.
I'm thinking about the brunch menu. I'm thinking about my bed.
I didn't expect that.
Hey, the truth is for life. But we only got 10 more minutes.
You said 10 more minutes?
All right.
I
So
can do
you
that.
okay? 10 more. Can you give me 10 more minutes?
I can try to do that.
All right. You're thinking about the brunch. All right. Let's go back to the brunch. Since you're thinking about it, let's talk about it.
You
Okay.
I'm hungry.
What did you say?
I said I'm a little hungry. Don't mind me.
I understand. I mean, I'm kind of like your mom in that. I mean, like I'll go the whole day and not eat and not,
Mhm.
and not even think about eating. But I understand when you're hungry, you're hungry.
Yeah.
So I'm really tempted to say, go get your salad. Go get your salad. Oh my goodness. Well, listen, ladies. Would you mind, both of you, would you mind sharing another poem?
I don't mind. But before we go, we did want to give away some tickets. Do we have any viewers?
Okay. And I think something's wrong with Facebook because this is the first, well, other than last week when there was something wrong with the system. Can you see on your phone whether or not?
We're on because I've shared it a few times in different
Okay.
groups. The
Okay.
only person I see um, on Facebook, I saw that Wanda was here.
Okay.
I wouldn't be surprised because there was so much going on yesterday with Facebook if people just aren't even on like that.
Right. I understand. Well, I tell you what, you want to give away tickets.
Mhm.
That would be great. That would be great. Anyone out there, please sign in, give us some feedback so you can get a ticket. Give
So
us
how
some
about
feedback.
this? If you're watching the replay, you can comment replay and then follow us on any platform that you have at Aim High Solutions. Slide into our DMs and let us know that you watched the replay and you want the free brunch ticket.
All
And the
right.
first two people who slide into our DMs, we'll set you up with those brunch tickets.
Okay. I'm going to bring you up front. I want you to repeat that. Okay.
All right. So you can follow us at all platforms at Aim High Solutions. Slide into our DMs and tell us that you've watched the replay and you want free brunch tickets. So all you have to do is follow Aim High Solutions on any platform you choose. That's Facebook or Twitter or I said Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. Our virtual show will be streaming through YouTube and Facebook, so you can get your tickets for that as well.
Awesome. Awesome. So they don't have to be in Atlanta
Right.
or
To get the ticket.
Georgia. They can be anywhere to get this. Do you hear that? You can be anywhere and get
Hmm.
a ticket because you can either come or you can watch it virtually, but you got
Right.
to have a ticket. All
Right.
right. All
And that's
right.
that's World Mental Health Day because the whole world needs some help
Yes.
mentally.
Oh, God.
It's
Don't
not just America, it's not just black people, it's not just white people, it's everybody.
it is.
I recently decided to become a behavioral health nurse, and I see all kinds of ages, races,
Yes.
sizes,
Yes.
you know,
Yes. I mean, and you're,
cultures, colors.
yes.
It hits
Yes.
everybody.
It is. And young people across the board. When you consider the second cause of death for 10 to 26-year-olds is suicide, and it's across the board. It's across the board. My heart has gone out. I mean, I have had riders that, and driving for me is really a ministry. It really is. And this one day I had a teenager from every race,
Mm-hmm.
and every last one of them shared stories of their relationships with their parents. And
Mm-hmm.
none of them were good. None of them.
Mm-hmm.
Really sad, really sad. So you're right. It's across the board. Everybody is suffering in some way or another. And therefore, this brunch is going to just really help uplift,
Oh
encourage,
yes.
motivate, inspire, and educate.
Right.
You
Yeah,
know?
you're gonna want to be there. Even if you think that you can't relate, you know somebody who does. You love somebody who does. You're friends with somebody, you work with somebody who does. So whenever you can participate in things like this,
Yes.
and that will help educate you, or it could even save a life because somebody
Yes.
might want to feel like there's hope. There's somebody listening. There's somebody trying to make a difference, and it might help them, take that first step and reach
Yes.
out.
Yes, you may be their lifeline. You may be their lifeline. Let me say that one more time. You may be their lifeline. So you
Hmm.
need to come to this event. You need to come to this event. Well, ladies, we're almost done. So I would like for each of you to share one more poem.
Okay.
You want to go 1st? Hmm. Yeah, you can go first. Oh, you want me to go first? Is what you're saying? Okay. I'm going to recite one more poem from Winter's Prelude. It is called Cry for Me, because at the end of the day, you need to um, have some kind of forgiveness
Yes,
and love for yourself.
yes,
Time to cry for myself and recognize the avoidance of the inward implosion of emotions, renting space right beneath the surface of my skin, yet taking residence in the depth of my soul. Too much time spent on others while ignoring my own buried cries for mercy and peace. Acknowledgement of connection to cry for the one whose tears could fill rivers and oceans, that could reach to the moon and beyond, for hurt children, despondent mothers, broken men who fight against the injustice meted upon them because of someone else's imaginings. Time to cry for the lost child who never knew where they fit, if they fit.
ooh, ooh, oh my, powerful, powerful. You guys, I mean, I want your book. I want your book. Oh my, and I want, okay. So Rachel, you're gonna close us out.
This is from Resilient Roots. It's called We Love to Love. Day after day, we strive for greatness, always seeking to fill the void with something. At times, we forget love is patient, love is kind. So we rush into little somethings and big nothings that fill the hole in our hearts until they don't. We try to fit squares into circles, pouring love into boxes of chocolates. We fantasize, romanticize, falling in love with the fantasy, failing to escape the endless nagging that something is missing. Rushing leads to settling down. We only settle down for less, for anything that mimics perfect love. We should be aiming high. reminding ourselves that love is patient enough to conquer all things. Just when we feel ourselves falling, afraid of failing, we reach out and God extends his loving hand so we know perfection. We strive for greatness. We learn to live for love.
Oh my, beautiful, beautiful. A great way to end. Live
Thank
for love, live for love. And forgiveness is another piece of that we didn't talk about, but you mentioned it in your poem, Demetria. Being able to forgive yourself as well as forgiving others so that we don't hold the guilt and the regret and all those other things that we hold dear to ourselves when we need to be able to forgive ourselves as well as others. Well, listen, ladies, I want to again announce about the brunch. You do not want to miss it. And it's on Sunday at 1 o'clock. It will be live on Zoom as well as live person to person. And I'm looking forward to seeing you guys there. And again, I'm honored to be a part of such a wonderful, awesome panel. Thank you for including me. And God bless you both. And I'll see you on Sunday. And thank you so much for being my guests.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us. And we
Yes.
can't wait till Sunday.
I can't wait till Sunday either. So, audience, I want to thank you again, and we're going to close out and just have a blessed week. God bless you all. You guys, I'm going to close this out. Don't leave yet, okay? Okay.
The Vera Thomas Show. The Vera Thomas Show. The Vera Thomas Show. The Vera Thomas Show. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.